So these are my annual traditional Christmas cookies, and I'm going to give away the secrets of what makes these amazing. First of all, you have to use these because they have a specific melting point, and that is one of the keys to perfect chocolate chip cookies. Second, as you put this recipe together, you have to melt the butter so you can actually stir it. That's another one of the key things in this recipe. And everything else, if you want to use flour that is imported, this is fantastic flour, double O flour, directly imported from Italy. Otherwise, a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour works fantastic as well. So the ingredients that you need are actually exactly what it says on the back of this, but it's how you put them together. Piece of this is the sugar. This is where it gets really, really subtle. So it's half a cup plus an eighth of a cup. That's what's really going to give you the perfect flavor. Otherwise, it is just too dang sweet. So you do that for both your brown sugar and your white sugar. Okay, now the next piece, very important, is you bless your food. You must imagine people eating these cookies and experiencing so much joy. And what I love is there's actual science behind doing this kind of thing. So, hey, why not create cookies that are going to make people feel better? I think there was a movie once called Water for Chocolate, and it's like the people who ate the chocolate when the person who was making it, like when she was like all upset and feeling bad, they were all upset and felt bad. Well, same thing goes for food you are creating. So that's one of the secrets to my cookies. I put these intentions in there, whether they are mantras or just visualizing the people who are eating these, like loving them. Okay, next thing is for the 2 eggs, well, don't just break them into the sugar. No, actually what the best thing to do is you actually break them into a bowl and you mix them up so they can adjust to room temperature. And this way, when you mix everything together, it is so fine and so smooth. Okay, so now here we have the mixed up eggs. We're going to pour them in with joy and happiness. And then here we're going to microwave these butter pieces. And I can hear some of you going, oh my God, she's using the microwave. Remember, it's all about intention. Remember how powerful our minds are, the placebo effect. Read just Joe Dispenza's book. It's amazing. It'll really change your mind about what you believe is good for you and not good for you and how you frame it. So anyway, we're going to just imagine that the microwaves are going to just melt this butter perfectly and it's going to do good things. Because of course, like I said, it's all about intention. Remember how powerful you are. Okay, next piece here is you're going to take the butter you melted, you're going to stir it up until it's totally, completely smooth. I'm making a big mess here. Okay, and just let it sit so it can adjust a little bit to room temperature because you don't want it to break the egg. And what I did is I whisked up the egg and the sugars. Okay, see, nice and smooth. That is like so important to get those things smooth. It's all about smooth textures for proper mixing. Then you're going to take the 2 teaspoons, do 2, for years I only put 1 in. I wasn't reading the recipe. But anyway, take 2 and of vanilla and then mix that in here while you're waiting for the butter to cool down. And only put the butter in when you feel like it's arrived at room temperature. And I actually overheated the butter slightly, so I need to wait a couple minutes. Okay, now you can also take a half a teaspoon of salt and put it into this mixture. That's not going to hurt anything, but salt is so important for flavor. Do not put the baking soda in there yet. Do not do anything with the flour yet either. That's a whole other thing. You just gotta go step by step if you want this to like turn out amazing. So now we're actually gonna pour the butter in. Okay, just mix that up so it's nice and smooth. This is what it looks like. Looks kind of liquidy. Probably like, is it supposed to be this liquidy? If you're doing it right, yes it is. Okay, so you take the bowl of liquid things, you set that aside, and now what you're going to do is you're going to take the baking soda and 2 1/4 cup of flour. So I'm using this 00 flour. And the reason to mix these 2 things together separately is so you get the baking soda is evenly distributed, because that is the key. Now, if you're living at low altitude, half a teaspoon. If you're at higher altitude, I used to live at higher altitude, you have to adjust for this. Otherwise, your cookies are going to be all weird. So anyway, put in the flour, make sure you measure, you know. I used to try to do this without measuring tools. No, just one of those people, that's just not going to work. I even have to use a thermometer for my meat. Oh my God, life-changing. I love this double O flour. It is just like so freaking smooth and like nice and light. And also what I love, because it's imported, the gluten does not affect my system the same way the flour created in the United States does. I mean, whether that's placebo in our mind or what, I don't know, but my mind is not yet strong enough to overcome that one. But it will be, it's on my list. So right now I'm actually mixing up the flour and the baking soda. Let's mix that up nice and smoothly. We have a very smooth thing. I just do it gently with a spoon. And then what you do is you take the liquid mixture, and you slowly pour it in, and you can mix this with a fork, which is kind of nice. And then when we get to the point of putting the chocolate chips in, we're actually going to use a blender, because I find that just does such an amazing job. I'm actually going to start with the blender now. All right, next thing with our high vibe cookies, because this is what makes Christmas so fun. You can have people like eat your cookies and they freaking love them. And it's like, that just makes me so happy. So anyway, check this out. Now, okay, now these wonderful cookies, the cookie dough is ready to get put onto the baking plate. So I have my oven at 375 degrees. And let me share how I actually get these on the baking sheet, because that is another one of these hacks. Okay, so foil side, my shiny side down on the foil. It's a little bit more of a non-stick experience, not perfect, but hey, it works. You can also use parchment paper. What I like to do is one of these little tiny melon scoops I found serves me really well with getting the exact portion of the chocolate chip. So that's how we do this piece. Now check this out. You can see about the size of that. So I always like to look at life in metaphors, and what I find so fascinating is that even though I'm actually just doing the recipe that's on the back of the chocolate chips, except for the slight modifications of when I'm mixing these things, at what room temperature they're in, and a slight modification of sugar. That's it. That's the only thing that's different. But let me tell you, the difference in the cookie, it's kind of phenomenal. So yeah, makes you wonder what other things in life, if you tweak for your own purposes, how much better is it going to turn out, right? Okay, so now we've got the cookies here, but now what I do is I take them and I slightly mush them down, okay, with a spoon, because otherwise they tend to not cook as well, and they end up being kind of round and puck-like, which I don't like. I like the more traditional look and texture of the cookie when they're not like little hockey pucks. Granted, they do taste good, but it's just in my visual, something I visually like. Check this out. Oh yeah, they're gonna be so good. And voila, you have these absolutely perfect holiday cookies. So good.